Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you. And so this morning we're up. We are running just a tad bit behind. One of those mornings with the voice, and one of those mornings that we are a little tired. But we gotta do what we gotta do, right? How about that? We're gonna get up and do what we need to do. And so go out there and reach out to some of your friends and tell them she's on. She's back on live. So we're going to talk just a little bit this morning, and then we're going to call it a day, right? I hope all of you have had a great Christmas. It was a quiet one. You know, I spent time with all of my daughters. All of us were together. And my grandsons, of course, y'all know that. Y'all already know how that works. That I'm gonna be with them boys no matter what. So it was with the boys. Got to see them enjoying Christmas presents and gifts and stuff from their moms. And you know, kids are a little bit more. How do you say it? They're into a lot of other things now that we weren't into when we were little. So I get excited now watching them experience life. I don't know about you, but excuse me, this morning's a little bit rough. I enjoy watching them enjoy the things that they do, the things that they see now. Because there's a lot of people that didn't get to see Christmas Day on this side of the river anyway. There's a lot of people that got to see life on in a different place. I'm gonna put it that way. But I am super excited that this morning we're getting ready to talk just a few minutes. We're not going to be here long, I promise. But I do have, I have a commission, and a mandate to give you what God gives. We even did part of this last night as a video. But then God got this morning, guys, let's go ahead and do it. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining this morning. So glad to have you with us this morning. I enjoy having you with me always. To those of you that are behind the scene, come on in and join us for a little bit. Like I said, we're not going to be here long. We're just going to do that says the Lord, and we're going to call it a morning, right? So I hope you have enjoyed your Christmas, and I hope that you are ready to start preparation, right? So this week we're going to be talking about one topic, and to those of you that are behind the scenes, thank you so much for being with me. Come on in. So this week we're going to be talking about a topic, and I want you to get your pen and paper because you're going to need it, because we're going to start talking about some things. Hey, Monica, good morning. So it's that time of year that we as individuals, we as people, we start making resolutions, and we start making promises of the new year, right? And we start doing these things. But sometimes, as a coach, I believe in us making some preparation, right? One of the things as a life coach is that, as a certified master life coach, is that we've been trained to educate people to have goals and objectives, right? And so over the last couple of years since I've been an actual certified coach, is that I have begun to sit down and really take a closer look at that, because it's very important that if you have something to start with, you can move forward, right? A lot of times we're moving without a plan of action. Sometimes we're not even thinking about things. We're not even putting things in perspective. We're just moving, right? But this week we're going to be talking about cleaning up and clearing out, right? Clean up, clear out, clean up, clear out. Go ahead and put that as your topic for the week, because that's what we're going to be talking about. You're going to either see me live like you're seeing me this morning, or you will see videos throughout the week, and that's what we're going to be doing because I'm still trying to preserve the voice. So the topic for this week is cleaning up and clearing out. So the first thing that we want to talk about is this right here. What is the process of doing that cleaning up and cleaning out to get ready for 22? Because in 22, like we've always said, we don't want to go into it doing the same thing over. So, in order to, if you want to use the phrase resolutions, if you want to make resolutions, if you want to make promises, then there's a process that you need to be going through to even get to that point. And that's cleaning up and clearing out. That's cleaning up and clearing out the inner. What do you need to do first? I'm glad you asked. The first thing is to determine what needs to be cleaned. The first thing to this process is determining what needs to be cleaned and cleared out. Because there's sometimes you need to clean up something, or you may need to get rid of something. So we're going to clean it up, or we're going to clear it out, right? So the first thing is being able to evaluate, what do you actually need to clean up? What do you actually need to get rid of, right? And so with that thought in mind, sometimes it's relationships that we need to clear up or get clean out. Sometimes it is your physical environment. I don't know how people do now, but while I'm working from home, when I do get that opportunity to start back, one of the things is I have to keep my atmosphere clean. I have to, wherever I am working from, it has to be clean. It has to be prepared. So you have to evaluate, what are you doing right there? What are you actually going to need to clean out that you haven't cleaned out, right? You have to be able to determine what are those things that need your attention that didn't need your attention before. Okay, because sometimes we as people, we forget to, that there's a process that we need to be able to actually clean out this area. And so I want you to think about this on a different point though. I want you to think about how in that very same place you need to clean out this up here. This up here has some things that need to go too. Help me, work with me. Some of us have sat in the same places of our homes. Let's do a comparison, if you will. Some of us have sat in a place in our home that we have not touched. We haven't looked at it. We haven't moved anything. We haven't mopped behind the floor, behind the door. We haven't. The same thing is true for your inner. You have to be able to decide what area of this and this needs to be cleaned out. One of the things that I can say is that as I sat and I listened to my daughters talking, and there are some mature young ladies. Well, of course they are. They're in their 30s. But as I sat and listened to them, they started to talk about some things that they wanted to change. And I was sitting listening as a prayer parent, But as I was sitting there listening to them, it took me back to my dad. And my dad, as many of you have heard me talk about, for years has been, he was a cement contractor for years, right? So he always knew what he was going to do on a job before he went to it. I'm going to encourage you today. The first thing that you need to be worrying about when you're talking about moving in at 22 is who, what, when, and where you need to clean out. If it's the inner, where you need to be stronger with yourself, Stronger meaning that you're not allowing the circumstances around you to hold you hostage. That is a place where you need to begin, right? That is something that you need to clear out. You want to go into the new year with new relationships. You want to go in there, and I'm not talking about boyfriend and girlfriend, because we're getting ready to do a workshop, and it's going to be an online workshop dealing with relationships and setting boundaries. It's going to be on our website. So when I tell you that when we're talking about relationships and trying to clean those up, it's not just about boyfriend, girlfriend, because girl, bye. It's not just about husband and wife, girl, bye. It's about us as an individual. See, a lot of people confuse what relationship coaching is. Relationship coaching is just not tied to that boyfriend and that girlfriend and that husband and wife relationship. Because let's be honest, if you haven't cleaned up you on the inside, you're doing exactly what Eric Badu said, bag lady, you're still carrying the baggage, right? So you have to make sure that you have cleaned up and cleared out your relationship baggage, right? One of my students uses the phrase as departmentalized, and I like that phrase because it's unique how we as individuals will try to do everything massively all the time, and that's virtually impossible. You cannot sit down and say, I want to go into 22 and I want everything to be new. You have to determine what needs to be cleaned up. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we're going to talk about is gathering the tools, gathering the things that you need in order for you to be able to clean up and clear out. If you want to clean up the relationships in your life, then you have to use certain tools. Some of that is you have to have forgiveness. Whew. He's funny. You have to be able to have forgiveness. Now, I can tell you that I'm trained in forgiveness coaching, but I don't, I wrestle with that element because I'm a person who has issues with trust. And so I'm just being honest. You want me to be honest and tell you what tools you need to gather? Well, let's be honest. One of the tools that you have to gather is being honest with yourself. You have to be able to say to yourself, I am going to make a change in how I react to certain things. And how that is that you have to set guidelines. You have to set boundaries. And so a tool that you need in your toolkit is boundaries, right? And so that is a concept that you have to develop. It just doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't pop up. You have to develop that process, right? Because a lot of times we as individuals don't develop processes. We just move, right? So when you're talking about cleaning up and clearing out and getting ready for 22, you need to find the tools that you need to do that. Is it spending more time reading your Bible? Is it spending more time praying? Is it spending more time fasting? Sometimes it's some things that you and I need to do in order for us to be able to clean up and clear out. Pardon me. One of the things that I have learned is that the tools that I need is to make sure I have my calendar and a tool mechanism that's going to make sure that what I'm writing in my calendar gets done. In 22, I am sticking to my rules. Monica, I'm going to be sticking to some rules. And one of those rules is if the conversations are not already in my calendar or the meetings are not already in my calendar, then I'm going to have to decline some things. One of the things that I learned in 21 by getting sick was this, is that the body will tell you when to shut it down. So paying attention to certain things is a tool. And all down through the next couple of days, we're going to continue to talk about some things. So one of the things that I want to tell you right now is I want you to know how important it is for one of those tools to be in your toolkit. And if you have not received a elevated not tolerated toolkit, get one before 22, because it's a mechanism. This is a tool that we utilize to help people understand how to get rid of some things, right? But if you add some things in your toolkit, and one of the things I want to encourage you to add in your toolkit is a real scheduler. I don't care if you're technical, suave, and you can put it on your phone. I have it on my phone, but I also have a hard copy. I have a hard calendar that I use that I absolutely love using, because it's important for me to be able to pinpoint some things and to commit to some things. See, if I say I'm going to do something, you don't have to ask me twice. If I said I'm going to do it, it's done, right? Because I'm one of those people, unless something drastically happens, right? But even with that, there's things that you have to put in your toolkit that's going to change the trajectory of how you walk into 22. You want to clean out some things? Well, what are the resources that you're using? Some people need a coach. Let me just throw that plug in there. Some of you and some of us, because coaches have other coaches. I'm a coach. I have several coaches that I deal with. Sometimes you need somebody to vent to. And there's a difference in complaining and venting, and we will talk about that in one of our workshops if you get an opportunity. But one of the things that is important is that you understand that a tool is knowing how to vent, knowing who to vent to. These are tools of the trade that most people don't think about when it's time to go into another year. I want you to understand that there is a concept. There is definitely a concept of how we as people go into another area, how we deal with going into our next. Some of you and some of us have not learned that concept. We haven't gotten down to the nitty-gritty of understanding how important it is to have toolkits and how we can get away from dealing with some things. One of the things is joining the Positive Self-Building class. It's going to be amazing. But this week, we're going to continue to talk about cleaning up and clearing out. We're going to talk about the concepts of knowing what needs to be cleaned out and what tools we need to do that. And then we're going to talk about how to remove it. You can have a tool, but if you don't utilize it in order to get rid of something, it's still going to be dirty. My mom for years always had a cleaning bucket, if you will. It was all of her cleaning utensils. It was her sponges and her Lysol, her Pine Sol, and all of those things was in a bucket. Some of us we've gathered the tools, but we haven't decided how to use it. You don't clean your bathroom the same way you clean your living room. You don't clean your living room the same way you clean your kitchen. You definitely don't clean your bedroom like you do your kitchen. There are things that you have to go through in order to do it effectively, right? And so we're going to be talking about that very thing this week. It's time for me to close, because I'm listening to my resources. But I want to encourage you to come and be with us this week, because we're going to take each aspect and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you some parts of nuggets so that you can enhance your understanding, right? So tomorrow we're going to continue. It'll be either live or it will be a video, but it will be here, right? If you miss it here, you can go to our website, Victoria Elevates, and you can also look at it there too, along with some other of our videos out there as well, and learn more about what we do behind the scenes. But I want to also encourage you that if you have not joined the Positive Self-Building course, tonight we're having back to class night, right? We're going to be talking about the syllabus and what needs to happen in this class, because it's going to be building self-confidence, bringing it to the forefront, bringing it forward, building your self-confidence and bringing it forward. Because sometimes going into 22, you got to know how that your confidence needs to be built. You need to be stronger. To get rid of relationships, people, places, and things that don't have time for you, you have to have the confidence to tell them it's time to go. My students will tell you one of the things, if it's not helping you grow, then it's time to let it go. So tonight we're going to be talking to our students. If you haven't registered yet, you can still register. This class is for men and women. Everything that I do is for men and women. I'm not separating the two, because I truly believe that men need assistance just as much as women, because there's some men out there who do not take time to enjoy life. There's some men out there who don't even understand what the concept is of being able to clean out and clear out the mindset, because men sometimes think that they're stronger than what they are too. So my classes are for men and women. Please join. We would love to have you. You can register now. You can continue the registration process, and we will talk more about it. If you need information, you can always inbox me or email me at elevatednottolerated@gmail.com. But tomorrow, come and be with me. We're going to talk about the first phase, and that's determining what needs to be cleaned up. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. It may be in a video form so that we can cover some things in detail. But tomorrow, come back and join us, and we're going to talk about the next stage, which is actually determining what needs to be cleaned up and cleared out. All right, guys, I got to go back to bed. Yes, I'm going back to bed. I have several things I need to do today, so I need to rest the body and be prepared for that. So guess what? I want you to really think about this week and joining us, because it's going to be phenomenal. Because by the time we get to Friday, you're going to be ready. I promise you. You're going to have some new ideas about walking into 22, because you're going to be cleaning up and clearing out. And always remain elevated and not tolerated. And we'll see you real soon. For those of you joining class, I'll see you tonight.